You've already checked your phone today more times than you can count. You picked it up before you got out of bed. You checked it during a conversation. You felt a pull toward it in a quiet moment when nothing was wrong, when no one needed you, when there was no reason at all. And yet your hand moved. Your thumb unlocked the screen, and you looked. You probably told yourself it was just a habit, maybe even a bad one. But the real answer is far stranger than a habit. What is happening in your brain when you reach for that screen has almost nothing to do with your phone, and almost everything to do with a survival system that is 200,000 years old. And the people who designed the apps on that phone knew exactly how to use it against you. To understand how, you need to understand something called the dopamine system. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, which means it is a chemical messenger that carries signals between neurons in your brain. For decades, dopamine was described simply as the pleasure chemical. The idea was straightforward. You do something enjoyable, dopamine floods the brain, you feel good. But that description is wrong. Or at least it is dangerously incomplete. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz at the University of Cambridge spent years studying dopamine responses in primates, and what he discovered completely reframed how scientists understand motivation. Dopamine is not the reward. Dopamine is the anticipation of the reward. It fires not when the good thing happens, but in the moment before, when the brain predicts that a good thing might be coming. The distinction sounds subtle, the consequences are enormous. Here's what that means in practice. Your brain is not designed to feel satisfied. It is designed to keep seeking. The dopamine hit does not come from getting the thing, it comes from the possibility of getting the thing. And possibility, by definition, is unresolved. It cannot satisfy you. It can only pull you forward. That is not a flaw in your brain. For most of human history, it was an essential survival feature. Think about what the life of your ancestors actually looked like. Every morning, waking up in an environment that offered no guarantees. Was there food today? Was there water? Was there danger nearby? Was enemy territory close by? Was there something in the rustling in the trees that you needed to respond to? The brain that survived in that environment was not a brain that sat still and felt content. It was a brain that was always scanning, always checking, always asking whether something had changed. The checking behavior was adaptive. It kept you alive. Your phone exploits that ancient system with surgical precision. Every time you pick it up, your brain does not know what it is going to find. Maybe a message, maybe nothing, maybe a notification that changes your day. Maybe a piece of content that makes you laugh, or that outrages you, or that makes you feel connected. The outcome is uncertain, and uncertainty is exactly what the dopamine system is built to chase. Neuroscientist Reed Montague at Virginia Tech has described this as a variable reward schedule, and his research shows it is the most powerful behavioral reinforcement pattern known in biology. Not consistent rewards, variable ones. Because inconsistency is precisely what keeps the seeking behavior alive. This is the same mechanism that makes slot machines so difficult to walk away from. The payout is not guaranteed. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you do not. And that unpredictability, that not knowing, fires the dopamine system harder than a guaranteed reward ever could. Your phone is a slot machine you carry in your pocket. Every time you unlock it, you pull the lever. Most of the time, nothing significant happens. But occasionally, there is something. A message from someone you were thinking about. A piece of news that matters. A comment on something you posted. And that occasional hit is enough to keep the system running indefinitely. The people who built the apps you use every day understood this. Former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris has spoken extensively about how the attention economy was deliberately engineered using the same psychological principle as casino design. Infinite scroll was designed to remove the natural stopping point that a finite page provides. The pull to refresh gesture, physically pulling down on your screen and releasing, mimics the physical action of pulling a slot machine lever. Red notification badges were chosen because red is the color the human brain has been calibrated by evolution to treat as urgent. Every design decision was made with one goal: to make leaving as difficult as possible. But there is a deeper layer to this that goes beyond design. Your phone also exploits a second, ancient system, one that runs even deeper than dopamine: social threat detection. For most of human evolutionary history, being excluded from the group was not a social inconvenience. It was a death sentence. A human alone on the savannah 200,000 years ago had no realistic chance of survival. You needed the group to hunt, to protect, to raise children, to survive illness and injury. The social bond was not a luxury. It was a biological necessity. And so your brain evolved an exquisitely sensitive system for monitoring your social standing. Are people responding to you? Are you being ignored? Are you falling out of favor? Is the group moving without you? Anthropologist Robin Dunbar at the University of Oxford has argued that the dramatic expansion of the human neocortex, the outer layer of the brain responsible for complex thought, was driven primarily by the demands of navigating complex social groups. Your brain is, in a very real sense, a social monitoring machine. It never stops checking. Every notification on your phone pings that ancient social monitoring system directly. A like, a comment, a reply, these are processed in part by the same neural circuitry that once tracked your standing in a tribe of 150 people. The absence of notifications also pings it. Silence is processed as a potential social threat. No one responded. Have you said something wrong? Has someone withdrawn? Is the group moving away from you? Your brain cannot tell the difference between being ignored on a screen and being excluded from a campfire. The anxiety feels the same because the system generating it is the same. This is why putting your phone in another room feels genuinely uncomfortable. Not inconvenient, uncomfortable. There is a low-level threat response associated with being separated from the device. Because somewhere below conscious thought, your nervous system has mapped the phone onto the same importance as social proximity. Being near your phone means you are reachable. Being reachable means you are still connected. Being connected means you are safe. This is not a rational calculation. It is an evolutionary one, and it runs without your permission. Understanding this does not automatically free you from it. Knowing that the slot machine is a slot machine does not stop it from working. The dopamine system does not respond to intellectual awareness. It responds to behavior and environment. What the research consistently shows is that the most effective interventions are structural, not willpower-based. Moving the phone out of the bedroom reduces morning checking behavior significantly. Disabling notification badges removes the visual trigger that fires the social threat system. Replacing the phone's position in your routine with a competing behavior gives the checking impulse somewhere to go. But perhaps the most important shift is simply understanding what is actually happening when you feel that pull. It is not weakness. It is not a personal failing. It is a 200,000-year-old brain encountering a device that was engineered with billions of dollars of research and intention to be as compelling as possible. The pull you feel toward your phone is ancient. The phone is new. And the mismatch between the two is the most profitable gap in the history of human technology. You have already checked your phone today more times than you can count. Now you know exactly why.